Hey guys, what it do? It's your boy Supreme Uchiha the God. Today I want to talk about rivals. And I want to pose the question, first of all, are rivals absolutely pivotal for long running series, especially shonen type genre? Are they pivotal to you? And if no, why not? And if yes, why? Because I want to talk about this for a little bit. So if you look at something like Noblesse, right? I think why Noblesse didn't meet its potential perhaps is our main protagonist didn't have a rival. He was the standard strongest. Essentially, from the start of the story to the end of the story, we knew that he was built to be the strongest, and he was the strongest, and that was that, right? We can't even say Frankenstein was really a rival either, right? For those that don't know Noblesse, you just Google it, type in Frankenstein, type in Noblesse, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna try to avoid the obscure stuff. Then if we look at stuff like Solo Leveling, there's no rival. At least thus far we haven't met anybody that we can consider a rival, right? There's no, because see, sometimes a rival doesn't necessarily need to be somebody that wants to fight you or somebody as strong as you, right? It could be, if you look at something like Tower of God, where it's an idealistic rivalry more than anything, right? Between Rachel and Bam. Bam wants to make it up the tower to prove to Rachel, in a way, not necessarily for that reason, but it proves to Rachel that, like, you don't need to be a conniving little bitch to make it to the tower. But also he has power, right? And then they kind of have like I think they're both willing to do kind of what it takes to make it up to the tower, but for different reasons. Rachel is willing to betray friends or anybody at all, period, while Bam is not willing to betray or lose his friends on the way up to the tower, right? He's willing to lose everybody else though. So that's kind of like the ideological or philosophical difference. And then when it comes to beyond that and comes to powers, we know that Rachel is way below. You know what I'm saying? She's like nowhere near his level. But that's why the story currently is making her way more OP, so that she doesn't just be she's not just a philosophical rival. So if we look at somebody like Lex Luthor and Superman, it's hard. I know people might be like, how are they rivals? But they're rivals, and they're rivals in terms of all philosophical. Superman does not believe taking things to the extreme like that, but obviously Lex Luthor does. But they both have the exact same goal, and that's the safety of humans and Earth. Lex Luthor would do anything, kill anybody, murder, and sacrifice anybody for the sake of the planet and the human race. Superman will do anything he can. That doesn't mean doing the same things as as Lex Luthor to save the planet and to save the human race, right? So it's interesting. And you know, a lot of people don't realize that those type of characters are also rivals. They're just different types of rivals than, you know, your even Naruto and Sasuke. It's more of a philosophical debate than it is a fist one, right? Because at the end of the day, Naruto is saying, okay, you want your revenge, cool, but like, you don't have to sacrifice and leave everything and sever all relationship and bonds to achieve your goals, and I'll prove that. And he does that by becoming Hokage. He does it with his friends. He doesn't cut off anybody, and he chases after the friend that he felt closest to, the only person that truly accepted him, of his own age mate, that truly accepted him early on. And that's the narrative, right? I know it gets wishy-washy throughout every now and then, but that's essentially the key fundamental narrative of Naruto. If we look at Bakugo and Deku in My Hero Academia, that's one of my favorite rivalries. I'm not the biggest fan of the manga or the anime. Team Lemillion all the way. Nerf gods, Nerf gang, you know what I'm saying? We've been nerfed, but it's okay. But if you look at somebody like Deku and Bakugo, what I like about their relationship or the philosophical differences is there's not that much of a difference. You know what I'm saying? So normally when you have a rival like a Killua, etc., normally one of these guys is gonna go bad, or is gonna go to the dark side, or is gonna push the envelope, or is gonna do certain things in a certain way that you'll be like, oh, you know what I'm saying? I have to try to save this motherfucker. But the beautiful thing about Bakugo is he's just an asshole, and that's it. The only difference between him and Deku is he's an asshole and Deku isn't, right? He's willing to save people. He's willing to try his hardest. He wants to be the best hero. He doesn't want to be a bad guy. He doesn't want to be with the scums. He considers them scum. He wants to be a hero, but he just wants to do it his way, right? Where you have Deku who's just willing to sacrifice himself and risk lives for the sake of saving one person, right? And then you have obviously Lemillion, who was kind of like a showcase of like, oh, this is why Deku deserves one for all over Lemillion, even though for me, convinced me that Lemillion deserved it more because he was right. But you know, it is what it is, right? But that's the beauty of it. I think when you look at rivals like that, I think it makes the connection between characters and the connection between a viewer and characters much deeper, right? It also splits fan bases, right? Team Deku, Team Bakugo, Team Killua, Team Gun, Team whatever. But usually people would like both of them, but they would have a preference. And those kind of discourses, I think, helps kind of keep attention, right? Whenever one steps forward, like let's say when Sasuke was way stronger than Naruto at some point, you're like, yeah, look, debate. It causes all type of staring in the fandom, which is great. And I think a lot of webtoons lack that. I think that's kind of like something I've noticed. Not just webtoons, a lot of like action stuff that wants to create that, I think, lack that. And it's not necessarily a bad thing. It's not necessarily a bad thing. I don't think you need rivals to have a great action-based comic manga webtoon. I think in the long term, it can be beneficial to have that type of character. It does make creating certain types of scenarios way easier. It helps to have natural conflict, even if there's no major world-ending conflict occurring at that time. You know what I'm saying? I think it keeps you thinking. It keeps you on your feet. I think it gives you more than the protagonist to care about. Now, it's like if you look at Solo Leveling, it's solely focused on him. There's no chance your favorite character is some rando in that, right? Essentially, because nobody else gets any attention or any screen time or any true development for you to be like, oh, that's my motherfucking god. You know what I'm saying? It's him or his monsters, and his monsters have no personality because he controls them. Well, they actually have a bit of personality, I ain't gonna lie, but he controls them, right? So that's the thing that kind of, I think, with solo leveling, I think it creates a ceiling for it. It creates a ceiling where it can never go beyond a certain point of mainstream. It can never go beyond a certain point because of those type of limitations. It's hard to. Now, there's some, obviously there's always going to be people that's going to cater to, that's going to be about it. Like, let's say if you look at something like if you look at the Bourne movies, right? Bourne Ultimatum, all the Bourne movies, it has a cap. Believe it or not, the Bourne movies all have a cap because at the end of the day, all you care about is Bourne, right? Because every movie characters change, every movie scenarios change, but Bourne stays the same. You watch the movies because you fuck with Bourne or you don't. So again, Bourne would have a cap. It could never be a Transformers size franchise. It could never be even the fast, I don't even know what it's called anymore. Fast and Furious, the fast Fury, like what? But it can never be that either because there's so many characters and you know them for so long that you can have different preferences, different styles. So that's why it catapults those type of things to fucking off the chains, right? And the rivalry plays a key role in those, right? It's just one thing it's just something I want you guys to think about. I think if you're creating certain stuff, especially if you are an aspiring writer, it's definitely, I think, important and necessary to think about that in the long term. Certain type of writing requires you don't need no rivalry, but even Game of Thrones has loads of rivalries, right? Throughout it, loads of characters, rivals with this character, with that character, with that character, with that character, and that's what kept it so engaging, right? Especially in the books, it's what kept it super engaging and is why it had one of the most successful TV shows of all time. Like it's hard to find something that's like grossing billions that doesn't have that same type of, you know what I'm saying, rivalry, right? And I think that's something that I think I just thought about it and I was like, that's an interesting take, huh? Like how many stuff that's popping got no rivalry, you know what I'm saying? And we're not talking about the typical that's the bad guy and I'm the good guy and therefore we're rivals. We mean like, they're on the same I don't want to say this. Yeah, they're on the same side, but not fully on the same side. Like I said, the Superman and Lex Luthor example for or Batman and Joker. Joker is Joker's. I don't think Batman and Joker are rivals. Actually, I'm not gonna lie to you. They're not rivals. Does Batman even have a rival? Now that I think about it, I don't think Batman has a rival. That's interesting. Batman might be the first motherfucker without a rival, but again, he's not. He's the Bat family is grossing fucking insane, but Batman himself, maybe in merchandise and stuff like that, is definitely popping. But we talk about movies. I suppose that those Batman movies were amazing, bro. Them Christopher Nolan's were amazing. I ain't gonna lie to you, bro. They were phenomenal. Maybe, you know what, Batman gets away. He Batman, so you know what I'm saying? He gets away with this shit. Come on. I'm Batman. Come on. He gotta get away with it. Fuck a rival. It's me. You know what I'm saying? Deal with me. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's interesting, actually. Batman is the only person I can think of off the bat that succeeded, in the mainstream to such a high level. But I don't think his movies grossed $1 billion. I ain't gonna lie. I don't think they grossed $1 billion. So, but then Spider-Man grossed $1 billion. He had no rival in that bitch. Spider-Man doesn't have a rival in general, does he? I suppose Harry Osborn, depending on the iteration, sometimes Flash Thompson. So Spider-Man, it depends on the story arc. It depends on a lot of situations. There's so many versions as well. It's hard. But you can definitely write spectacular and long-term stories without rivalry. I think it's, but I think stuff like, let's say, the X-Men. If everybody remembers the X-Men cartoon or X-Men Evolution, like top tier, like stuff that really sticks in your brain to a different degree, I think has rivalry in there somehow. You know what I'm saying? I personally, I definitely think I have a bias towards it because I definitely prefer rivalries, especially when they're done in intriguing ways like Bakugou and Deku, where it's like these guys they're not different. Like, they both take this necessary action to save people. The only difference is one of them is a bully and a superhero at the same time. Which is so crazy. He's a bully hero. And the other one is just a hero and a nice guy. How interesting is that? I really like that because it's like, it's real, right? It's real. It's like when you look at Democrats and Republicans and all of that stuff, a lot of them would have very similar goals. You know what I'm saying? Very similar goals, but their approach, their stance on certain things, on certain matters, on how to do things is what really differentiates the two. You know what I'm saying? It's interesting. I just thought, it's just something I thought it would be an interesting conversation to have. Also, I had no idea what to make until I thought of this. I was sitting there and I saw a picture of Killua or Deku, I can't remember who, or Bakugou or whatever, and I was like, damn, bro, this could be an idea. So that's a conversation, right? What's your favorite rivalry, actually? You know what I'm saying? My favorite rivalry, in terms of, like, let's say in webtoons, it's gotta be, in webtoons, there's not many, bro. I'm not gonna lie. I can't really think of, webtoons don't really have rivalries like that. Lucasm, for me, it would be, I like Vinny and Jay from Windbreaker, and I love, you can Google that shit, and I love, what's his name? Zach and Johan from Lucasm, and I love Bam and Rachel. That's my favorite rivalries in webtoon. In manga, it would have to be obviously Naruto, Sasuke, Killua, Gon. I actually don't care for Vegeta and Goku, to be honest. It would definitely have to be Zuko and Aang. I love that rivalry. Absolutely love it. Can you consider it a rivalry? Or would it not be considered a rivalry? Comment that shit down below. Because some of these are like rivalries, but are they rivalries? You know what I'm saying? Because we know Aang way stronger than him anyway. So... But I suppose it's a philosophical rivalry in many ways, you know what I'm saying? Because really they both have the same goals, but Zuko was just trying to like repress that shit. But I don't know if that's considered rivalry then, you know what I mean? Yeah, maybe Aang is not one. Ben 10 and Kevin 11, they had a sick rivalry for a minute. Yeah, there's a lot of rivalries, man. Comment your favorite rivalry down below. I can't think of too many more. Superman and Lex is one of my favorites as well. And bam, it's been your boy, Supreme Uchiha, the God. I hope the video was kind of enjoyable. I was kind of just, thought it'd be an interesting topic to bring up. I'm out. Topic to bring up.
I got friends now. You ain't know, but I got friends now. I'm ballin' out with my friends now. You ain't know, but I got friends now.